Hello guys, I know this is not the usual paranormal story time background, but something happened to me that I wanted to share with you guys, and also as this kind of like witches ethics type of situation. And I want to talk to you guys in a real and raw way, and this is part of that. Like, I always want to kind of be as real as possible to you guys. Of course, that's not always possible, it's not perfect in any way, so get your alcohol-free wine out of your plastic chalice like me, because I'm a clumsy ass and I don't trust myself with real glass. And let's get into this. Hey. Ooh, nice. So today I want to talk to you guys about my paranormal experience that happened the other day at work. And yeah. So a little bit of background information. I thought that I don't have the sense of smelling, like, I don't remember what that's called, but the paranormal sense of smelling, where you sense when a spirit is close by, like noticing their kind of like the smell that the person had when they were alive, or their house's smell, or something that reminds you of them. And something really cool happened to me at work. I'll preface this by saying this is also something that I just want to talk in general about, and this has to do with Uja, so stick to the video if you want to see that. So I was at work, and I had a grandpa when I was little, and my grandpa was one of the sweetest people ever. He was so, like, he was a go-getter. He did exactly what he wanted without anyone else kind of like, he didn't care about what anyone else thought. And one of the funniest things he did while he was still alive, and I remember this because I was a little kid at that time and we used to hang out at his place a lot. He lived in like Finland's kind of like south basically, and east, and in the eastern part of Finland it's not very typical for a person to own a reindeer. Yes. Usually only people in Lapland own reindeers, but my grandpa had a like lifelong dream of wanting a reindeer. Yes. And what he did was, he had this big house in this small city in Finland, in like the eastern Finland. Did I say that correctly? No, east, west, south, north, south. So like, isn't that like south? Yeah, southern Finland. And there, like, literally there's nobody with a reindeer. And he had a big like field in his background, and he was like, that could fit a reindeer. And he started to, because that had been his dream, but he didn't want to go to Lapland to live there because our family was in the south. So he was like, why don't I just make a reindeer place where I can keep the reindeer in the background or backyard, and and then import a reindeer here. And that's exactly what he did. And he went on walks with his reindeer in Finland, just on the street, like people walk their dogs. My grandpa walked his reindeer. It was such a big sensation that people even put it in a local newspaper and things. So he was a very eccentric, fun man, and he was very dear to me because I spent a lot of time with him. And he was always this kind of a like eccentric, fun person who didn't really care about what others thought of him. He just wanted to be himself, and basically that's what he did. And he was up to the point when he got sick and was hospitalized. He was very much this very lively person who you would have thought was younger than his age. And sadly he died of natural causes at some point. He had a seizure basically, and unfortunately passed away. And this has been, I think it was when I was 12, I'm not exactly sure because I was so small, but he died anyway, and I didn't take that as hard back then because I didn't really understand death that much. But anyway, after that, like, I've had no experiences with him, like, haunting me or anything, but I was at work, and get these people, I was in this place, and suddenly I can smell like his cologne, and his house, which smelled like tobacco ash and this cologne, and like his furniture, and I can like smell that in the hallway of my workplace. And there's no way there could be that kind of smell, because like there never has been. I've been working there for 1 year and nobody has ever like smelled exactly the same. And I got these memories of him like flowing to my mind, like my grandpa. And I was like, Grandpa? I didn't get an answer. Because like I'm like that, like when I get like a ghostly thing, I rather talk to them so they know that I acknowledge them if they are there. But I didn't get an answer. But then I was like, okay, it could have been like somebody else wearing the same cologne or something. Gee, don't get excited or anything. And because I've been missing like my grandpa, like yeah, of course. But like then I'm like, okay, back up. It might be just somebody else wearing the same cologne, smelling exactly the same. You never know. Don't jump into it's a ghost, like, because I want to be skeptic about these things, so when I can prove something, I can really prove it. So then I go, and because I have work to do, I go to the elevators and I push the 3rd floor, and it closes, and it goes to the 3rd floor. And this has never happened in that elevator, and I've been working there a year. When it goes to the 3rd floor, it stops, but the doors won't open. And I stand there a whole like 3 to 5 minutes, and it doesn't open. But I don't do anything, and I'm not scared. I don't feel scared. I'm like, okay, somebody wanted to stop this elevator for me to have a moment here. And then I can feel a presence of a man behind me. And it was kind of like so familiar. I can't explain it in any other way. Like, it was warm, familiar. I didn't feel any like threat in that elevator. And I knew that that was my grandpa, probably. So immediately I'm thinking like, okay, grandpa's here, and I say grandpa. And exactly at that moment, the elevator door opens and lets me out into the 3rd floor. Like, exactly after saying that, like, as if he stopped me to be like, hey, I'm here, acknowledge me being here, and then I'll let you go. And that's exactly what happened. And then I take my phone to text my father, because I'm like, why would my grandpa, my father's father, suddenly show himself to me? And I get worried, like, there must be a reason. So I text my father, I take my phone out to text my father, and I notice that there's only 15% of the battery left, when in the 1st floor it was full. My battery was full, and I had just, like, in the morning, I always have my phone on me for like emergencies, or if my work phone stops to work and I need to call like 911 or something, like there's always a backup phone. I keep my own phone there to be a backup, and also if somebody of my loved ones gets hurt, so they can reach me in situations like that via text message. Of course, I don't keep the noises on, but I had it on me, and I had like loaded it because I needed to have battery for like backup. And like it's 15%, and in the morning I had loaded it. I had like it was full battery just a few minutes before. So we all know that ghosts do tend to drain battery energy when they do things, or they drain energy from different equipment because they can use that electrical energy. And that was to me like the confirmation that yes, it was like a ghost at least, and it must have been like my grandpa. So I text my father like, you're gonna think like, because my father doesn't believe in these things, and I'm like, okay, you might think I'm crazy and I don't want to upset you or anything to my father, but like, I think grandpa came to me, are you okay? Because you're the only person I can think that he wanted to tell me something about, because you're his son and you're my father. So then my father was like, maybe grandpa just came to visit you and see if you're okay, because he knew that you can sense him and see him. And like, that was like, so like, my father didn't even hesitate. He was like, yeah, it was grandpa, and he probably came to you because you believe in ghosts, you see them, and he knows it, and he wanted to see that you're okay. And that was so sweet. Like, it's been, like, I was 12 when he was buried and like died, I think, and I'm now 27, and there's been like this long, almost 10-year gap without me. Like, I've been trying to reach some of my dead relatives, but I haven't been successful. I like hedge riding because I want to give the ghosts a voice and a way of doing it, and I like communicating if they need to get the things sorted out so they can move on. And that's what I like to do, but I couldn't do this with my grandpa. I've tried, but now he did it, so that was a weird thing. But what happened after that was like, I thought that he had something to say to me. Of course, I was like wondering about that, like, why did he, if it wasn't about my father, what was it? And like, yeah. Sips wine. Feeling weirded out. I look like a housewife at this moment, like a housewife with a background and art project, because I'm wearing this kind of shit and I'm having a Farrah Fawcett day. No, but then like, so I'm there thinking like, he must have had a message to me and I should like do something to get the message out. And then I go home and I'm like thinking like, I'm gonna be like true to you guys, like I should do Ouija. And I'm thinking this because that's the easiest way for them to kind of like contact you. And I see Ouija as like, Ouija boards as another tool. Basically, it opens a portal. You need to be understanding of that. Like, it opens a portal, so cleansing, protecting with circles, doing all that. That's extremely important, so you don't attract the wrong kind of things in Ouija. But to me, it's still just a witch's tool, like any other, like my wand, like my bell, like everything that I do. And I have opened portals in the past, I have cleansed things, there's been like some things have come through, I've banished some things. So I feel pretty confident in myself using the Ouija. But then I think, okay, I should film it in case something happens. And then I pause and I'm like, gee, you gotta think about this. Why do you really want to contact your grandpa? Do you want to contact your grandpa? Because, you know, like, I'm such a paranormal person. Like, I want to, you know, like, prove that paranormal exists because I believe in it so much. And I want to have the solid proof for it. So it's not for the views. It's for, like, the paranormal world. Like, I want people to know it exists. And to be able to share that with people, like concrete evidence, because I know that that's what people need in order to believe in it. Unlike me, I believe what I see and what I experience most of the times. But I also felt like this is a golden opportunity to do that. And I was like, but would have grandpa liked that? Like, really? Would have he liked you filming you guys' like special moment after 10 years? And I'm like, I can't do Ouija in this mind space. I'm confused. I want him to have a message for me. I've missed him so much. I want to talk to him. So I noticed that I was having unbalanced energy. I was having these thoughts about like, why am I truly doing the Ouija? Am I doing it for YouTube to prove paranormal things? Am I only doing it for like my grandpa's sake? And I had to say like, I don't know. And that's when you shouldn't do things like that. You shouldn't open portals with unbalanced energy in you. You shouldn't, when you are feeling insecure, when you are feeling vulnerable, when you are feeling negative in any way or shape or form, and disrespecting, that's not a way to open a portal. That's not the mind space to be at, to open any kind of portal, because that's when you're gonna exactly do what you don't want to, which is attract something you don't want. And to me, after 10 years, when I get the honor of my grandpa coming through to me, that's not gonna be, if I'm gonna do a Uja session, I'm not gonna film it, and I will have all my focus in it. Because to me, filming things, I don't like filming my rituals most of the times. I don't like filming those things because I feel like there's an extra pair of eyes on me, you guys. And it's nothing to be, but to me, my rituals and my spirit communication is kind of sacred in a way. It is my time with my gods, with spirits, and I want to honor them. And by bringing a camera into that mix, I'm not sure if that's honoring them. So that's the reason why I'm very careful about things like this, because I want to be respectful above all else, especially to my deceased loved ones, of course. So knowing all this and knowing the fact that it's not safe, I postponed my communication with him. If he can do that then, he can probably do it later. And I really want him to have a message for me, because I'm a human being, but probably the message was just him telling me that he's there in the afterlife and he's watching over me. And he probably doesn't have anything more to say, or if he has, he will find a way to probably say it to me without me going hell-bent over it. I think that he would want me to play the Uja. I say play because people say play Uja. Uja is not a toy, but I just say that, but I don't mean it in that way. I mean to have an Uja session, and as I said, like, I see Uja as a tool, so I will probably use it. I will probably report to you guys if something happens, but I won't film it because it's not worth it, and there has to be a limit to what I do in some cases, and if something feels wrong, it's usually wrong. So that's why I'm not gonna film me communicating with my grandpa, at least for now. Of course, this can change at some point, but I just wanted to share this story because it's one of the most endearing ghost encounters of my life. And I'm sorry I'm tearing up, but it's just that I've missed my grandpa so much, so it's so amazing. And now I'm gonna cry. Oh, I gotta stop this now. I'm sorry guys, I wanted to make this video just to kind of let you know that if you are gonna play Uja, please take all the precautions, and I can make a tutorial of how to do it safely at some point, but I need to go now before I start fooling myself over the internet. No, I don't want that. So yeah, I see you guys in my next video. I love you, bitchlings. Bye.